from Hiroshima and Yasuda Girls High School. And Yasuda Girls High School, this is their second time to participate in the CIF project.
Good afternoon. My name is Yukari.
Nanako.
Mai, Shiori, and Yuka. We are here from Hiroshima,
Japan, representing Yasuda Girls Senior High School. We thank you all for welcoming us to this year's conference.
Our CIF team, formed in October 2014, decided to focus on the region of South Asia, with special focus on India. So, why India?
India is a country, like Japan, that has a very long history and very traditional. India is a country that has many socio-economic issues. How familiar are you with India?
At the start of this project, we were very unfamiliar with India. But here is a little of what we found about India.
The title is South Asia Free of Nuclear Weapons. The Republic of India is one of the oldest countries in the world. After many years of British colonization, India gained its independence from Britain in 1947. India has the world's second highest population after China, with around 1.2 billion people. Unfortunately, one-third of India's population is living in slums or shanty towns. Although India struggles with many issues after many major market reform in 1991, India, as of 2013, has the 11th largest GDP in the world. India has the third largest standing army in the world, and its military budget is the 8th largest in the world. India is a democracy, and its nuclear weapon states it has 80 to 100 nuclear weapons and 20 nuclear weapons.
India is the birthplace of four world religions. Other religions arrived in India much later. But despite these additional religions arriving in India, about 80% of the population is Hindu. The Hindu religion basic principle is belief in birth and rebirth. But equally important are the following two principles of the Hindu religion: karma and dharma. Karma, the natural law of causes and effects, and dharma, living a good and righteous life. So, even though India is a nation strongly guided by its beliefs of peace, India has the third largest army in the world and has nuclear weapons as deterrents. This seems contradictory, but we think this religious background of India can be one of the reasons.
So India has nuclear weapons.
Why India is a member of the non-aligned movement. We submitted 8 working papers in 2013, one of which reforms nuclear disarmament as NAM's highest priority. Now, we will talk about current development and ICT in India because we think its economic and technological development is very important for realizing non-proliferation in South Asia, which can lead to a South Asia free of nuclear weapons. Countries that do have nuclear weapons also have security and political and economic strength. So, one of the main reasons why it is not easy for armed countries to give up nuclear weapons is money. The nuclear arms industry generates a considerable amount of money for countries with the material and technical skills to produce the actual weapons. The nuclear arms industry creates jobs for many people. So, if all nuclear weapons are eliminated, all directly and indirectly related jobs concerning nuclear weapons will equally be eliminated. This sudden change in the job market may heavily impact the domestic economies of affected countries. Therefore, it is very important for India to have strengths other than nuclear weapons.
Indian science and technology industry has been developing rapidly over the past decade. This is because of India implementing national policies to protect intellectual property. With such strong laws in place, this has seen a constant increase in job creation, industry development, and foreign direct investment in India. India has a goal of exporting ICT services to other developing and developed countries. For this reason, companies based in developed countries are increasingly outsourcing jobs and work to India. Let's take a look at India's growing ICT industry.
First, take a look at India's current production rate of electric power, which is necessary to the ICT industry. India currently can meet the nation's power supply needs. Power shortages are very common throughout the country. India currently has 20 nuclear power plants around the country. However, they generate only 3% of electricity in India. India's plans are to increase the working efficiency of established nuclear power plants, but in light of recent nuclear events at Chernobyl, Russia, and Fukushima, Japan, the consequences of an accident on a similar scale are being seriously considered. Japan has offered to provide support and technology assistance about nuclear power to India, and in doing so, build better ties between two countries. But on this point, we have serious concerns. Japan was not able to efficiently and effectively manage the Daiichi nuclear power plant event in Fukushima. And 3 years later, the problem is still ongoing. In light of its own lack of ability, should Japan be offering support and help to India?
So, we want to suggest that India consider the option of biomass energy. Biomass energy can produce electricity from waste, also reducing the amount of waste buried in reclaimed land. So, to shift to biomass energy is very environmentally friendly first step to resolve India's waste program and move away from the need for the use of nuclear power. After establishing its own biomass energy power generation, India can then increase its own economic growth by promoting the use of increased job marketing and the sale of information on biomass energy. India and Pakistan are the only countries in South Asia that have nuclear power plants. So, if they give up nuclear power plants, there will be no nuclear power plants in South Asia. If there will be no nuclear power plants, there will be no worry as discussed the Hague Nuclear Summit in 2014 about nuclear fuel being stolen by terrorists and made into nuclear weapons or nuclear contamination. Even nuclear waste after use is highly radioactive and dangerous. This is why we think it is also important to give back nuclear power plants for nuclear non-proliferation.
Now, we know there is a possibility that India can develop economically with the nuclear weapons. However, in order to realize nuclear non-proliferation, which can lead to South Asia free of nuclear weapons, building trust with other countries is necessary. How India can be connected to other countries through economic. As you can see in the graph, India's main business in the ICT industry, and India is also popular for the outsourcing of software development. And as you can see in this graph, the balance rate of the internet in South Asian countries is still low, while in developed countries such as Japan and the US, it is about 80% according to ITU ICT statistics. show there should be a need for the internet and ICT technology in many countries, so India can provide its technology to them. Access to broadband can be a solution to the global development gap, so India can help achieve one of the goals of the NAM, which is facilitating a restructuring of the international economic order.
So we suggest that India leads to create the South Asian version of the EU, the South Asian Union. Even though the EU has a unified currency system in place, each participating nation financial policies are different, and this causes great risk to the overall stability of the EU economy. In addition, there are political, geopolitical, and social problems between EU members and some non-member countries which impact relation on different levels, including economic and current levels, cultural levels. EU member countries do their best to work together in all levels, but it is not an easy situation for all. After the establishment of the EU, mostly among countries in Western Europe, there was a slow expansion east, and the Eastern European countries also chose to join the EU. This EU annexing of Eastern European countries has, in the short term, not had any major effect on overall EU market economy. However, the most stable and rapid economic growth has, to date, been enjoyed by the Central Eastern EU countries due, in large part, to foreign investment and strong EU support.
So while the EU system is far from ideal and experiences constant challenge and issues, a stronger connection and communication between neighboring countries in a particular region work to the advantage of all countries involved. We suggest this as a positive option for India and neighboring regional countries to try explore to build better relations, establish trust, and consequently reduce the need for nuclear weapons in the region to zero. Let's have a look at the politics. As we said, India has 80 to 100 nuclear weapons and 20 nuclear power plants, but India is a member of NAM. India has come to possess nuclear weapons mainly for two reasons: China and Pakistan. Possession helps India feel safer. However, India's acquisition of nuclear weapons led Pakistan to similarly develop nuclear weapons as a deterrent against India. This shows how easily one country gaining nuclear weapons can quickly promote nuclear proliferation. India's and Pakistan's possession of nuclear weapons could encourage other neighboring or regional countries to also develop nuclear weapons.
India has been involved in several treaties. However, in 1968, India refused to become a signatory to a NPT, saying that it was discriminatory against countries who became nuclear power after January 1, 1967. In 1974, after India's peaceful nuclear explosion testing, that US led country to bring sanctions against India. Sanctions continued against India until 1998. However, in July 2005, the US-India civil nuclear agreement was reached, in which India agreed to separate its civil and military facilities, and thus the IAEA would manage India's civil nuclear facilities. This agreement is very controversial because this is a deal between an NPT member country and non-member country.
Nuclear energy can generate huge amount of power, but at the same time, separated plutonium from this power can be used to make weapons, nuclear weapons. India is a country now increasingly afford to develop nuclear weapons for defense. The reasons India continues to develop its nuclear program includes those issues. Also, India now is able to buy uranium for sugar use from Australia, which means it has an access to possible materials for nuclear weapons when it wants to make some more.
While India has nuclear weapons, it has also been a member of the NAM since 1961. NAM is an intergovernmental organization of states concerning themselves not aligned formally with or against any major public. As of 2012, there are 120 member countries from Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. At an international conference in 2008, towards a world free of nuclear weapons, Prime Minister Singh supported nuclear disarmament. Concerning this fact, we think India really wants a world free of nuclear weapons.
What is needed to realize South Asia and world free of nuclear weapons? We don't think this is something they can realize immediately, but step by step. India has come to possess nuclear weapons due to fear of China and Pakistan. And both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons. However, India's Prime Minister declared a drive for nuclear disarmament, and India participated in the humanitarian impact of nuclear weapons united Mexico on February 14, 2014. Not only India, but also Pakistan participated in this conference, and both of them belong to the NAM. In order to realize world free of nuclear weapons, it is important to build a good relationship between neighboring countries, and we think this can be done using the NAM. The NAM members do not have a formal constitution, but decisions are made by unanimous decision. So the NAM statement is shared by all member countries. All South Asia countries are a member of the NAM, so they share the same goals. One of the NAM's goals is facilitating a restructuring of the international economic order. However, as there are many member countries, it is difficult to make one whole economic union with all countries. The South Asian Union exists so that they can build trust based on economy, which will eventually enable those countries to build good relationships politically. If one's neighboring countries are strongly connected, and it becomes easier for the people to visit each other's country and make friends, their friends' countries is no longer a threat to these people.
There will be no need to have nuclear weapons, so the idea of South Asian Union is for nuclear non-proliferation. Then the other countries in the NAM should also make the small regional economic groups. The strong connection amongst those economic group countries will enable the NAM to establish a firmer position in the international community. You may think that the member countries are too poor to achieve such a position, but these are a lot of business opportunities and possibilities in developing countries, such as construction of houses and roads, internet and sewer systems. This is what companies in developed countries want. So the NAM countries may be able to negotiate with developed countries with using what they don't have. For example, when they allow companies from a nuclear state to start a new business, they could ask that country to dismantle one nuclear weapon instead. Each step is small, but gradually this will lead to a world free of nuclear weapons, another goal of the now.
If the suggestions made by our team are realized, India will become a global model for other countries as a country that doesn't want nuclear weapons.
As a constantly improving standard of living for all.
Doesn't want neighboring or regional countries with nuclear weapons or nuclear weapon potential.
Is seeing rapid growth in the ICT market and its economy giving people in India better jobs and opportunities.
Could be a global leader if it uses biomass energy and more environmentally friendly energy.
If it joins with other countries, especially non-countries, and develops a South Asian Union of countries like the EU, will make the region more peaceful because countries have better relations and no need for nuclear weapons.
When countries begin to share on all tensions and issues will be reduced,
More trusting relationship established,
and countries will no longer feel the need to arm themselves with nuclear weapons.
or to have them as a deterrent against others.
Thank you for listening.
questions we will do our best to answer.
Okay, no questions? You guys are very quiet. No? Okay, so,
I have a question.
oh, please.
So you said you use biomass for recovering the electricity back in India. And I'm curious, what happens if all garbage is cleaned up by biomass? What are you going to use after that?
Indian source have many sources. For example, trees, and many sources. So they use.
India has many forests and many sources, so we can use. So if the garbage is not there, we can use trees and other things there in India too. Thank you.